things in wrestling hit harder than a surprise return. The lights go out, the music hits, and suddenly, the arena explodes. WWE has given us countless shocking and iconic returns over the years, and today we're diving into the very best of them. From Royal Rumbles to Monday Night Raw, this company loves to keep us on our toes and expecting the unexpected. I'm Clarissa, and this is the Glam Countout, most surprising and iconic returns. Now, of course, we have to start with the absolute reason this video came to be in the first place. After 10 years away, AJ Lee has made her return to a WWE ring. AJ left the company back in 2014 and has not stepped foot in a WWE ring since. Every year, fans speculate about when AJ would return, to the point that it was even expected that she pop up at Royal Rumble this year. WWE does not do us any favors because every time we start to speculate, they start posting more about Miss Mendez. They knew exactly what they were doing. And while this return isn't really shocking, because not only were there spoilers, but the story kind of pointed to AJ coming back, it still deserves a spot on this list because what do you mean in 2025 AJ Lee is back and getting in the ring? There was no way I was going to do this list and not include her, because that one will probably be in many of the lists of the best returns ever, simply because of who she is and what she represents. Royal Rumble 2008 saw John Cena entering at number 30 and shocking the world. Just 3 months earlier, in October 2007, John suffered a torn pec and was expected to be out for 7 months. He cut that time in half, popped out, and shocked the world. This was during a time where John Cena wasn't always received well, but everyone forgot about that in that moment and lost their shit. This one is probably one of the most shocking returns ever because it was very unexpected, and I don't remember a single rumor, a single hint that John Cena would be returning from injury early. And it's these type of returns that I live for, that I love. Surprise me, shock me, catch me off guard. And John Cena did all of that. John Cena would go on to win this Royal Rumble by eliminating one of my favorites, Triple H. While we're on the topic of Royal Rumbles, of course I have to dive into Edge's return in 2020. After retiring in around 2011, I don't think any of us ever expected Edge to get back into a ring. We knew how badly his neck was, and while he would pop up and do promos, and even doing a small segment where his neck was at risk, we didn't see much of Edge physically. Truthfully, I just did not think Edge being back in a ring would ever be possible. So when I heard "You Think You Know Me," I lost my shit as if I was in the arena. I could not believe it. There was no way that Edge was about to come out, and yet he did. And seeing him stand there and take in this moment and all of the emotion in his face is why I will forever remember this return. It's in my top favorites, hands down. This is one of my favorite returns ever because, again, unexpected, surprising, and truthfully very heartwarming and nostalgic. And you know, we love a nostalgia moment here. My favorite thing about this also is that this happened right before we were all quarantined for COVID. So Edge got to do this return in one of the very last audiences for WWE shows. This was perfect timing. This was cosmic. If they had waited any longer, he would have had to return to an empty arena, and Edge didn't deserve that. Speaking of Edge, let's go back to 2017 at WrestleMania 33. The New Day is standing at the top of the aisle while all of the tag teams are already standing there, ready to compete in a ladder match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. And the New Day mentions that, hey, there's one team missing. I wonder who it is. You know, at the time, this was when the who thing was quite big. Could not have expected to hear that drop of the Hardys music. With this one, there had been rumors swirling. In the week leading up to WrestleMania, there was a lot of rumors and speculation on whether or not the Hardys would be returning. They competed in a match, I believe it was 2 days beforehand, and dropped those tag titles. And in an interview they did later that night, they very strongly said that they wouldn't be back, but who knew what the future holds, but it wouldn't be for months. They threw everyone off their track so well that when that music hit, I literally started screaming at the top of my lungs. If you were my apartment neighbor at the time, I sincerely apologize for you having to hear that because it was loud. Me personally, I am waiting to get that moment all over again because I need one final run of the Hardys in WWE before they hang it up forever. But this, again, one of my favorite returns ever. I cannot mention AJ Lee without mentioning her husband CM Punk's return at the 2023 Survivor Series. Here's the thing. This one was also rumored. There was a lot of questions on if CM Punk would be taking Randy Orton's place in the War Games match. Would CM Punk show up and complete Team Cody? When Randy's music hit, I think everyone lost their hope that CM Punk was coming out. Well, Randy's here. We're good. Me, I was excited for Randy because at the time I was not a CM Punk fan. But that does not take away from this return whatsoever. Because they're standing in the ring after they won and you're wondering why the show is still on air. What are we doing here? And CM Punk's music hits. There's not too many pops I can compare to that one because that one was absolutely insane. And all he did was stand at the top of the stage. All he did was stand in front of the War Games cages that hold the teams, and the arena was losing their minds. Now, of course, since then, me and CM Punk have gotten along fairly well, and I even consider him to be one of my favorites on this current run. I just needed to experience it for myself all over again, you know? SummerSlam 2020 marked the start of an era, a journey I had no idea we were about to embark on. The main event featured Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman fighting over the Universal Championship in a crazy-ass match, which led to Bray Wyatt winning. And as the Fiend is standing there, championship held high, he turns and catches a nasty ass spear because the big dog is back, but he's not really acting like the big dog. He takes out both Bray and Braun. And one of my favorite moments from this is him telling Braun, "You ain't a monster unless I'm around." Roman is throwing spears, throwing punches, talking crazy to these guys with a wreck everyone and leave shirt on as he stares at the Universal Championship that he never actually lost. I don't think any of us expected the 1,316-day title reign that would come. No one expected the big dog to turn into the head of the table, the tribal chief, the guy, the WrestleMania main event that became Roman Reigns. And I wouldn't be talking about returns if I also didn't mention his return at SummerSlam again in 2024. That man loves a SummerSlam return. This one, I was hoping and praying for because it was the main event that saw Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa. And Roman Reigns came out and it's like you could see the change, the metamorphosis. You can see the transition into the tribal chief again. And the rest is simply history. This next one is probably my all-time favorite return simply because it is my most vivid childhood memory of wrestling. During a tag team match in May of 2001, Triple H suffered a torn quad, which I believe his quad muscle basically tore right off. The man could not walk. He had to be helped up the ring, and it was a very sad sight. But in January 2002, in Madison Square Garden, Triple H made his long-awaited return in his denim and leather jacket combo. And actually, one moment. Now, like I was saying, Triple H made his long-awaited return and it will forever be one of my biggest memories. I remember the music dropping. I remember the sound that Madison Square Garden made. I remember him coming out on the stage, taking it all in, going back and forth. It is the clearest memory I have in my childhood of wrestling. It is why I bought this jacket. This is probably one of my most prized possessions at this point because this moment and this jacket meant so much to me as a young fan. I remember the countdown. I remember the feeling of waiting for my GOAT, my favorite wrestler, to return. And his return did not disappoint. And yes, I did in fact have to be extra and go put this jacket on just to talk about this. However, it is quite hot in my apartment, so we're not going to keep her on. I don't know if I've ever mentioned to y'all that Royal Rumble is actually my favorite PLE because these next two returns also happened at Royal Rumble, which is, again, my favorite PLE. In 2003, my girl, one of my GOATs, Naomi, would return shockingly, at least to me. I don't remember expecting this return. This one completely came out of left field. We all know Naomi had left the company a few years earlier for reasons unknown and that I will never try to dive into, but she landed gracefully on her feet in TNA, Just days before Royal Rumble, she'd actually dropped the TNA Championship to Jordynne Grace, who ended up walking into that same Royal Rumble with Naomi's title. This return excited me, but I could have never expected the run we ended up getting. This return led to the start of the Big Three: Naomi, Bianca Belair, and Jade Cargill. It led to a crazy heel turn, a Money in the Bank briefcase, and a brief stint as Women's World Champion. Her next return will for sure be on this list. But based on how everything is going, she's definitely not returning at this year's Royal Rumble, so maybe next time. Alexa Bliss got one of the biggest pops at the 2025 Royal Rumble when she returned. Leading up to this Rumble, it was rumored that Alexa would be returning, but closer to the actual date of the event, there started to be rumors about contract disputes, about how Alexa and the WWE couldn't come to an agreement on terms. And at the very last hour, at the very last minute, something must have worked out, because Alexa entered at number 21 in the 2025 Royal Rumble. Again, one of the biggest pops of the night, and Miss Bliss has not stopped yet. And finally, one of my favorites from this year, Jade Cargill returning at Elimination Chamber. Up until that point, we hadn't seen Jade Cargill since she was attacked in November before War Games. For months, we were all playing Inspector Gadget, trying to solve the mystery of who attacked Jade Cargill. Was it Bianca Belair? Was it Naomi? Bayley? Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez? Nia Jax? Tiffany Stratton? Who could have possibly been the one behind Jade's attack? Now, right before Elimination Chamber, footage started to be revealed that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez just so happened to be in the area the night Jade was attacked. So, of course, trying to take up for their friend, trying to defend their friend's honor, Bianca and Naomi attacked Liv. So when Jade's music hits at Elimination Chamber right before the chamber closes, everyone in that chamber is thinking she has her eyes set on Liv Morgan. Jade's eyes do not move from the center of that ring, and as Liv is pleading her case, it seems like Jade says, "I know it was you," but some people think she says, "I know it wasn't you." Either way, I did not expect that swerve of that punch to go from Liv to Naomi. I mean, the way she dragged Naomi through that chamber should be studied, okay? It was absolutely insane, and I still have my live reaction of me just screaming my ass off, because what is happening? I did not top Bianca though. So I had to include this one simply because I enjoyed it so much, and it started one of the best women's feuds of this year, because I have so enjoyed the breakdown of the Big Three, even though I hate 2 out of 3 are currently out, and we'll have to put a pause on this until we can finally finish this story within the next year or so. And that officially wraps up my list of some of the most jaw-dropping returns in WWE history. From emotional homecomings to shocking swerves, these moments prove that in wrestling, you never truly know what to expect next. Let me know down in the comments which returns had you screaming at your TV, and which do you think I should have included on this list? Who knows, there could be a part 2 coming. Y'all know the drill. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, subscribe to my channel, and turn on post notifications so you're notified every time I post. Until the last bell rings, bye guys.